Hey guys, welcome back to Valaxy Technologies. My name is A.R. Shankar. In this lecture, we are going to see what is the difference between Docker CMD and Entrypoint. This is one of the important interview question where you can face in many interviews. Let's get started. Here you can able to see one of the Docker file where I am using CentOS and trying to give some instruction. We'll try with the different combinations like CMD, Entrypoint, CMD plus entry point, and also just entry points, and also multiple entry points and multiple CMDs. We'll see the results so that you can understand better what is the difference between these. First, let's try with the CMD command. Here you can see two instructions of my Docker file. One is I'm just pulling the CentOS. I'm not using the latest tag because there are some issues with the latest tag. We need to add some additional M repos to pull that code. So to avoid the confusion, I'm just using the CentOS 7, and second instruction is the CMD instruction. By using this instruction, I'm trying to install one package. Usually to install a package, we are going to use m-y install git, right? So same command we can use in the CMD as well, but here we need to keep each word in the separate quotations so that it will treat it as a command so that we can able to perform this task. Let's jump into our Linux system and try to execute this Docker file and we'll see the result. This is my Docker server and you can see we have a single image called CentOS. There are no containers at this moment on this system. Now let's try to create a file called Docker. So there is no file called Dockerfile over here. So Dockerfile I am creating, and the instructions is from CentOS colon CentOS 7, and first we are going to use the CMD command. CMD. So I'm trying to install a package, right? For that m-y install git, right? So this is the package I would like to install. Anyway, this package can be anything. Just for demonstration purpose, I'm using git. So to use this as a command instruction, we need to keep it in the separate codes. So for that, just we need to make it in the separate codes. Okay, even this as well. Alright, I just kept it in the separate quotation so that it is going to install a package whatever we have specified over here. Alright, now let's save this file and try to build the image. So docker build -t. I'm going to name it as a demo box. Okay, and dot, nothing but in the current location we have a Docker file, use that one. By using this, it is going to create a Docker image. Now if I see Docker images, we could able to see one additional image. Now let's try to see the Docker file, what it is there. So we have the CMD instruction which is trying to install git. Now let's try to create a container out of our image. For that, docker run demo box, right? I'm just trying to create a Docker container with the default values. So now let's see what will happen. So you can see here it is trying to install a package, and package installation is successful. If you see here, it's installed git package. Okay, same thing we can check it out over here, docker ps -a. If you see, this container has been created and exited, it just execute this command and exited. Anyway, if you see the command what was executed, it is m-y install git. Okay, so same instruction we have given over here. Now let's say that I don't want to install git, I want to install httpd or telnet, any some other service. Then what I can do, I can give this as a argument while running my container. So how I can give? So this is the command to create a container, right? So here I need to provide the my arguments. But if I give just httpd, what does it happen? It is going to just replace the entire command with this argument. So CMD instruction get replaced, okay, or override with the arguments. Okay, here we are giving httpd, right? Now let's try to run it and we'll see what will happen. You can see here clearly it is trying to run httpd as a command and it failed. And if I see the docker ps -a command, you can clearly see this. It is trying to execute httpd as a command rather than m-y install httpd. Okay, now how I can execute httpd? Yes, you can execute because you just need to give the entire command, that is m-y install httpd as a command command line argument so that you can install it. So how I can do that? So just we can do it by using m-y install, okay, httpd. Let's try it out. This time instead of git, it should going to execute this command whatever we have provided over here. Yes, you can see here this time it has been installed httpd and docker ps -a. If I see, yep, it's just executed m-y install httpd. So what does it mean? If we go and check it out, our docker instructions, so cmd get replaced in case if we provide some arguments while creating a container. Okay, that is the first thing. But my requirement is differ. I just want to execute git anyway while creating a container. If such cases, we can use the entry point instructions. So how we can do? Just edit this file. I'm going to change the CMD to entry point. Okay, so the entry point and CMD will accept the same kind of syntax. So this is what we need to do. So let it be. This time we are going to try with the entry point. Now we have updated our Docker file. Once we have updated our Docker file, we should recreate our Docker image. Docker build -t. I'm going to use the same name demo box dot. So now what will happen? We have already demo box, right? That will get updated. Okay. We no need to give the new name each and every build or each and every new image. Now image has been updated, and now let's try to execute the same commands. So docker run demo box. Okay, now we are trying to create one more container with the latest image. Because we are not giving any docker image name, so it will create some random name every time. Okay, let's try this time. This time what should happen? So entry point, whatever information we have given, it is going to take that one and install it. Okay, all right, you can see here this time it has been installed git successfully. Same thing we can see here, docker ps -a. Yes, you can see here it is same like our initial instruction how we can use with the CMD. Okay, now where is the difference between, or what is the difference between CMD and entry point? That is what comes now. Now let's take that. Okay, in the same command, if I give the httpd, earlier whenever I gave httpd, okay, my entire command got replaced. I mean to say this command has replaced with the httpd. Now let's see what will happen. Okay, but in entry point, so in this case what should happen? It should install the git as well as httpd. Why? Because it should append the existing command. So docker ps -a, if I see earlier, okay, this command was replaced with the httpd, but in this case, okay, it is appended git, and it doesn't have sufficient space over here. That is the reason we couldn't able to see, but it is httpd. So it just appended the our instruction at the end of the entry point instruction. So that is the difference. So whatever we provide in the entry point, it executes as it is. If we provide any additional arguments, that will be get appended to at the end of the instruction. Now if I want to install multiple packages, okay, so let's take that httpd telnet, okay, and tree, okay, like that we can specify anything. So let's execute. This time along with the git, these three packages also should get executed. Okay, so let's go up and see. Yep, you can see here git httpd telnet tree, and if I scroll up little bit, yes, it's installed 4 packages. Why? Because we have given 3 arguments and one package came with the entry point. Okay, now same thing you can see here, docker ps -a, and if you see this, what is this dots, then we can go with the docker inspect. Okay, inspect is a command which will explain about our container. So if I scroll up, you can see here what was the instructions it gone. So m-y, you can see here install git httpd telnet tree. All these came as a arguments, okay, along with the existing ones. So that is the advantage. In case if you wish to execute one command at any cost, okay, during our container creation, we can use the entry point. Now let's take that I don't want to execute, okay, git every time. In case if I don't provide any arguments over here, then only it should get executed. Then how we can achieve it? So that is where we can use the CMD and entry point combination. So here you can see we are pulling the image, and entry point I'm just mentioning m-y install. I'm not giving the package name. Package name I can give in the CMD prompt. Now what will happen if I don't provide any arguments? This entry point will take the argument of CMD, okay, and it execute it. So entry point and CMD both instructions will get executed now. So in entry point we have the m-y install, and CMD instruction we have the git as a argument. So by default, if I don't provide any arguments, it's just going to install the git. But if I provide any arguments like httpd, this httpd is going to replace the git, so it is going to install only httpd. Even I can provide multiple. So whenever I provide multiple, it is going to install only these. If nothing is provided, then only git is executed. So now by using the CMD and entry point, we can achieve it. Let's try this one. So let me cancel it, clear the screen, and vi Dockerfile. And here entry point, I'm just going to remove this git, and CMD. Okay, here I'm going to give the git. All right, it can be any package name. So now again we need to create a Docker build -t demo box dot. So we are going to recreate image. Every time we change the Docker file, we need to create the new image. Docker run demo box. As per our discussion, it should just install git. That's it. Because we haven't provided any arguments, by default it is going to take the CMD argument. Yes, it's executed only, installed only git. You can see the same thing over here. So which means that in case in our Docker file, if we have the entry point and CMD, it is going to execute both instructions, not only one. Now in case I don't want to install git, now I want to install only httpd, then I can provide the argument. So this argument is going to replace this argument, I mean to say instruction, and will execute or will install only httpd. Let's try that one. Yes, if you see, it just installed only httpd. It doesn't install multiple packages, only one package, right? And even I can test it with the docker ps-a, and if you see the command instruction, it is m-y install httpd. This is how it works. I would like to see if we have the multiple CMDs, what will happen. Okay, for that, to test that one, I'm going to use this command. I'm going to use two CMDs, I mean to say command instructions. In one instruction, I'm trying to install the package. Another instruction, I will try to just echo the command. Okay, so let's try that. Vi Dockerfile, and let me just replace this one with the CMD. Okay, and I would like to install a package, okay, that is httpd. Okay, next thing, again one more instruction. Here I'm just giving echo comma hello Valaxy. Okay, so this is the instruction. Now we have two instructions in the same file, I mean to say single Docker file. You can see that. Okay, now we'll try to build it. Docker build -t demo box dot. All right, now let's try to build a container. So Docker run demo box. Okay, so now I am trying to run it, and we'll see. You can see here it taken only one instruction. Another instruction is not get executed. This one, if it is executed, the installation should go. So what does it mean? In case if we have multiple entries in a single file, I mean to say single Docker file, it takes the latest entry. I mean to say whatever is there at the end, that will be treated as a entry and it get executed. Even you can see the same thing in the Docker PS. It is going to execute just echo hello Valaxy. And even I will try to add one more as a argument, just to technologies. Now what will happen? Does it display the hello Valaxy technologies, or does it try to execute technology as a command? Yes, you are right. It is going to treat technology as a command, and it replace this entire thing with the technology, and it try to execute the technologies. You can see here it is trying to execute the technologies as the instruction, and ps minus af, if I see, you can see here the command treated as a technologies. Okay, now let's try the same with the entry point as well. So va Dockerfile, and let's change the same thing as a entry point. All right, I have just changed it to entry points. Now let's do the Docker build once again, and let's try to create a container. So we are trying to create a container. Before that one, let's open this file, and two entry points. We want to see which one is going to get executed. Docker run demo box. Okay, so let's see now. Even here also it is going to take the latest one, nothing but here this is the last entry, so it treated last entry, and above one has been ignored. Okay, now let's do argument with argument technologies technologies. Now you can see here whatever argument we have given, that will be appended at the end of the instruction. So this is how the entry point does work. One last thing I would like to show you. Okay, can we able to update entry point command or entry point instruction while executing or while creating a container? If so, yes, we can do that one. For that, we need to provide the arguments as a minus minus entry point. I will just show you how to do that. So this is the command, right? So here we need to give minus minus entry point user add. I don't want to either install the package or echo some command. I just want to do the user add followed by the our container name, I mean to say image name, and here we need to provide the arguments. So what is the argument? I would like to create a user called Valaxy. Okay, it should able to create a user called Valaxy. Okay, and it should ignore both these entry points. Now let's try it out and we'll see what will happen. And if you don't know what happened, docker ps minus a, it will tell you what command it has executed. You can see here user add Valaxy, it tried to execute a Valaxy. So in case if you want to update the entry point, yes, you can do with the minus minus entry point, so that it is going to ignore whatever is there in our Docker file. All right, so let's recap what we have discussed. First, we tried to test the CMD command. So we have given the CMD instruction to install the package, and we created a container. So it installed the Git as it is, nothing but whatever is there in the command instruction, it installed. Sorry, it executed. And we tried to give some argument while creating a container. Now the argument replaced the command instruction, whatever is there in the Docker file. So it tried to replace the m-y install git with the httpd. Next thing, we have given the complete command just to test it out. Complete command replaced the cmd instruction so that we could able to install httpd. Same we tried with the entry point. So in entry point, even we have given the same instruction, and if we execute docker run demo box, it installed git. There is no difference between entry point and cmd till here, but whenever we try to give the httpd as a argument, here we could see it is installing git and httpd as well, where in cmd command it replaced. Okay, next we try to achieve that only I want to give the package name while creating a container. For that we used a combination of entry point and cmd. If we just try to create our container without any arguments, it just installing the git, because it taken the entry point and cmd both into the consideration. In case if we have entry point and cmd in our docker file, it is going to execute both. Then we try to run with the argument. So argument replaced the cmd instruction, and it just ignored the git and it installed httpd. At last we try to install multiple packages, still it worked. Next thing, we try to execute two cmd commands. So when we use two cmd, if we run the container is going to execute the latest cmd, nothing but whatever is at the end of the docker file that it executed. And if we give the any instruction, it is failing. Try to run technologies as a command. Then in entry point also, it tried to execute the latest command, and If we add any arguments will be appended the existing one. At last we try with the updating the entry point. So for that we have used a command called docker run -- entry point and instruction followed by the image name and the value or argument which we need to pass. Whenever we do this one, it created a user called Valaxy. Now this question is for you. In case if we have these entries in our Docker file, what would be the output or what would be the result? Please comment below in the video. I love to see that. Thank you so much for watching this video and see you in next interesting video.